What's up, y'all? Make sure you follow me on Spotify, the podcast with Soul. Follow me on Instagram, the podcast with Soul. I thought about this video about a week ago, and then I really thought about it earlier today. And Big U is being indicted by the feds on the RICO. And if he's convicted and sent to federal prison, he's gonna have a totally different experience than what he would have if he got sent to California state prison. It's going to be a totally different experience for him. And let me tell you why I say that and what I mean. Now, he's also going to be prosecuted, I think, by the state of Nevada for the Rashawn Williams life. And I don't know how they're gonna run it. They'll probably run it consecutive, meaning he'll have to go do the Fed time first, and then when he's done with the Fed time, he'll have to go do the Nevada time. So I think effectively he's looking at, if he's convicted, he's looking at a life sentence. Not that he'll receive life as a sentence, but he's looking at 20 years on the RICO. And then if he's charged and indicted and convicted on the Rashawn Williams life, he may get an elbow for that. And even if it's 10 years or 20 years for the life of Rashawn Williams, you're talking about anywhere from 20 to 40 years or more of jail time. And he's closing in on 60 years old. So he'd be looking at a life sentence. Now, the reason he's going to have a different experience in federal prison as opposed to the state of California is that in the feds, nobody is going to care. The inmates at the USPs, which is probably where he'll end up, at a maximum security prison, those inmates are not going to care who he is. The fact that he was the leader of the Rolling 60s gang out of LA, how big he is, where he's from, the fact that he was a Crip. The DC blacks are not going to care about that. The New York, New Jersey car is not going to care about that. The Midwest car is not going to care about that. The Chicago car, Texas, Louisiana, it's a whole nother situation in the feds as opposed to California. Now, I've never been locked up in California State Prison, but what makes me say what I'm saying is that what little I do know about the gang politics and the prison politics in California is that these gangs run the prisons, right? You got Bloods, you got Crips, you got the Mexicans, the white boys, the white Aryan Brotherhood. And if you were a blood of significant rank on the street, I would assume that when you get to prison, you would still be a blood of significant rank in the California prison system. The same thing with a Crip or the Nuestra Familia or the White Aryan Brotherhood. And the politics in the California prison system is dictated by the gang. So I would assume that if Big U went to prison in California, he would assume a leadership role as soon as he got there, based on who he is, his reputation, his name, where he's from. But in the federal system, that ain't gonna matter. Them niggas in the feds are not gonna care about none of that. The whole political situation is totally different. You're talking about regions of the country rolling together. Yeah, you have Crips and Bloods in the federal system, but you also got the gangs out of Chicago, the Gangster Disciples, and it's run, regions run together, right? Like the DC Blacks is usually the biggest car in damn near every prison because DC has no state prison system. If you catch a case in DC, you automatically go to the feds. That's why there's always so many DC dudes on a federal prison compound. And then with the DC dudes, you may have some Baltimore dudes mixed in, unless Baltimore got its own car. You may have some Virginia dudes mixed in. You got the Atlanta car, the Florida car, Texas car, Louisiana car, and Pittsburgh car, Cleveland, Ohio, OH10, and these dudes, they don't care nothing about who and what you were on the street. And there, it's about respect. And it's not about intimidation. Not to say that nobody can't be intimidated in the feds, but it's highly unlikely that, especially when you're dealing with the higher level, maximum security joints where he's going to end up, the federal prison, they're not going for that. They're not going for no disrespect. They're not going to be afraid. They're not going to allow any concessions. They're not going to do anything but stand on their square, and they will demand that you show respect and treat them accordingly. Yeah. So he's gonna have a whole different experience, man, than would it be in California, than what it would be if he went to the state prison in California. If he went to the state prison in California, he would automatically assume a leadership role the day he touched the compound. I would assume. I'm not from California, I'm from New Jersey, but what little I know about the prison politics in California, he would be somebody the moment he arrived. I would think probably on any yard, anywhere in the state, just based on who he is. But in the feds, that shit ain't gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. So, just an observation. Follow me on Spotify, The Podcast from Soul, my Instagram, The Podcast from Soul. Thanks for watching. See you next time.